Ladies and gentlemen, from the Universal Church of Freedom, Peace and Justice, Deacon Gerald Celente.
Hello, everybody. This is Deacon Celente, and spring has sprung, and so too has war across the globe. No one's talking about what's going on in Sudan. The United States has soldiers in Somalia fighting. The Yemen war still rages. The Ukraine war keeps heating up. No talk about peace. It's a dirty word, not allowed to be discussed. If you do, you're banished from the media. If you disagree with the mainstream narrative, you have no place to speak to the mainstream. All the big news, of course, is this guy, Tucker Carlson, who was let go by Fox. Oh, Tucker Carlson's gone. Tucker Carlson's gone. He was the only one out of the entire media, the big mainstream media, that didn't repeat the mainstream narrative from 99.99% of his colleagues. Agree with him, disagree with him, not the issue. One person outside of the circle is not permitted. And that's what happened to me. There's that movie, What Zizzy Gave Honey Boy, about my Aunt Zidzi, may her soul rest in peace. Zidzi is the Neapolitan dialect for auntie. Your aunt is Zia, Zidzi is your auntie. And in the movie, it opens up how I got blacklisted. I used to be on Oprah, The Today Show, Good Morning America, CBS Morning and Evening News, NPR, all over. But I said the United States would lose the Afghan war and we had no right going in there. Boop, that was it. You could see the movie. It's only 15 minutes long, but you could see the short clip. The woman playing Zidzi was Doris Roberts, who played the mother in that TV series, Everyone Loves Raymond. And Doris Roberts died 15 minutes into the movie, so it only got 15 minutes. But it opens up how I got blacklisted. So love Tucker Carlson, hate Tucker Carlson, not the issue. The fact is, you're not allowed to say anything that's against the mainstream narrative. They call it misinformation. If you didn't want to get the COVID jab, you didn't believe in the Operation Warp Speed gene therapy inoculation, the first ever injected into the human body, then you were blacklisted. You were called anti-vaccine, rather than thinking for yourself and looking at data. So that's where we are. And it's global. This is an article from Wednesday's Wall Street Journal. See it? Media advocacy group cites European Union risks. Barriers to reporting arising amid weak legal protection and limited political will. Limited political will. You have no will to speak out against the politicians. Politicians are the new God. They roll out the red carpet for them. They are above us. We are nothing more than plantation workers of Slavelandia. As the politicians locked down the world and businesses went out of business and the lives and livelihoods of billions of people were destroyed, politicians didn't take any pay cuts. Their lives weren't destroyed. But limited political will. European Union, among the world's strongest proponents of media freedom, isn't doing enough to protect reporters within its own borders, according to the Committee to Protect Journalism, an international advocacy group. They go on to say, the EU and the US, the United States, are the world's largest and most outspoken advocates of media freedom. Oh, yeah? Advocates of media freedom? You're blacklisted on all the media if the government doesn't agree with what you're saying. We saw it happen with the COVID war. They go on to say both the United States and the EU are also experiencing increasing restrictions on journalists and publishers through political pressures, lawsuits, surveillance, and physical abuse. The CPJ, that's that group, and others have said over recent years. A record number of journalists have been imprisoned, and they say it's gained notoriety following Russia's arrest of a Wall Street reporter who was detained while reporting inside Russia on March 29th. They accused this 31-year-old citizen of espionage. U.S. government, the Wall Street Journal, adamantly deny the allegation. Oh, Russia arrested this guy, but how about Julian Assange? Oh, he doesn't count. Those dirty Russians. England and the United States could do what they want, but those Russians, who cares about Assange? This is the hypocrisy. Again, think about it. One guy gets fired from Fox News, and it's news all over the world because he wasn't part of the narrative. Again, agree or disagree with him. Quick story. Back in the 2000s, when I was on some of the media, MSNBC, Tucker Carlson was on then. And I went out to Secaucus, New Jersey. Car picked me up, took me out there. That's where their offices was. When I was a young boy, Secaucus was all pig farms, abattoirs. Not farms, but they used to slaughter them. Anyway, so I'm sitting in the green room and I'm hearing this person that's going on before me. Oh. And Tucker Carlson comes out, the woman leaves. And Tucker Carlson said to me, "How you doing, Gerald? How you been? Blah, 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 blah." I'd been on with him before. I said, "I'm doing great." But I said, "Who is that?" I said, "That woman was insufferable. Oh, so egotistical. Who is that woman?" Her name is Rachel Maddow, and they're grooming her. That's my Tucker Carlson story. And I didn't even know who this person was, but I couldn't believe how she kept going on and on with this arrogant tone. And she's one of the top of the mainstream media. What we do with the Trends Journal, we give you trends in the news that you're not getting anywhere else. We're giving you everything we can. I've never worked hard in my life. There's no journalism. It's dead. It's gone. The bigs have bought up everything. Look at the news. ICE closed down their network. BuzzFeed closed down their network. Vox. Business Insider fired, 10% of its staff. One after another. There's no journalism. You're only allowed to believe the narrative coming from the government repeated by the mainstream media. And you can thank Bill Clinton for this. He's the one that deregulated the media industry. The bigs weren't allowed to own anything until his Federal Communications Act of 1996. To show you how freedom has been lost and the countries that say they're bringing freedom and democracy around the world and get involved in wars around the world, and how little is reported about the hypocrisy of these nations that bring freedom and democracy while they steal it from everybody else. There's an article that just came out about this people over there in France. This is April 27th. 3 protesters face criminal charges after making obscene gestures at French President Emmanuel Macron during his visit to the town on last Wednesday. I don't know how to pronounce this. It's called Censorship. The trio have pleaded guilty to contempt of a person holding public authority for giving their leader the middle finger. The 2 men and women may be punished with up to a year in prison and £15,000 fine. The protesters, none of whom have any criminal history, are between the ages of 23 and 42. They will go to trial in September. And that's something, huh? And then, as we reported back in March, another woman got arrested because she put on Facebook on March 21st, day prior to President Macron's televised interview. The woman wrote, "This piece of filth is going to address you at 1 p.m. It's always on television that we see this filth." She faces a $12,000 fine. These are the countries that bring freedom and democracy and kill people all around the world as they rob the freedom and democracy. You can't give somebody the finger? Why, how dare you? But you can kill people anywhere you want. You could say, we got to get that guy Osama bin Laden dead or alive, and that's fine. And slaughter hundreds of thousands of people in Afghanistan if your name is George W. Bush. Or if you're Bill Clinton, that killed over 500,000 children under the age of 5 in Iraq by the sanctions and bombings that he put on them. Oh, don't believe me. Google it up. Leslie Stahl, CBS, Madeleine Albright. Madeleine Albright at that time was the United States ambassador to the United Nations. And Leslie Stahl asked Madeleine Albright, is the price of the sanctions, what Bill Clinton is doing in Iraq, worth the lives of 500,000 Iraqi children under the age of 5? And Madeleine Albright said, yes, it is. Yep, that's fine. But don't give her the finger. No, 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 no. That wouldn't be polite. But you could kill anybody that you want. Anytime, anywhere. It's the American way. And the European way. NATO did a great job in Yugoslavia. Love what they did in Libya. Terrific, terrific in Iraq and Afghanistan. What hypocrisy. And it just keeps going on. You're not allowed to be against the system. We have an election coming up in the United States next year. And on Thursday, Gallup poll reported U.S. President Joe Biden's approval rating dipped to historic low as he announced that he would run for re-election. Just 37% said they approve of the way Biden has handled the job. That's his lowest number since he's been inaugurated in 2021. But he may get reelected because the media will not give equal airtime to his leading opponent right now, who is RFK Jr., who, according to a USA Today poll, has 14% popularity rating. And he just announced his candidacy last Wednesday, officially. But the way he's presented by the media is in a very negative way. This is CNN. They didn't even run this on their homepage on CNN.com, but this was the article they put up if you put Kennedy name in. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the anti-vaccine activist. Nope, that's it, anti-vaccine activist. That's all they call him. How about calling Joe Biden a pro-war president? Not a war that he didn't love and vote for. But they don't use that kind of language. So if they don't have debates, it's going to be very hard for Kennedy to win. Very hard. And people aren't happy with Biden. The only reason Biden won was because so many people hated Trump. It wasn't a pro-Biden, we love Biden. It was we hate Trump. So that's where it stands. On May 27th, right up here in Kingston, New York, on the Four Corners of Freedom, the Universal Church of Freedom, Peace, and Justice, along with Occupy Peace, will be having another Peace and Freedom rally. This time, it's being called Make America Healthy Again. That's right. Make America healthy again, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and physically. Great speakers are coming. Some of them so far. John Whitehead, look him up, Rutherford Institute. Wonderful man. His wife Nisha will be here too. Judge Andrew Napolitano will be here. Gary No. Frank Morano, WABC, and others. Please do what you can to support us. This costs a lot of money to put these on. We're fighting for peace and freedom. I'm a warrior for the Prince of Peace. What are you doing for it? Week after week, day after day, hour after hour, more and more talk of nuclear conflict. The United States just agreed to put nuclear submarines off the coast of South Korea and protect South Korea from North Korea, particularly if there's a nuclear exchange. The United States will fire back. Oh, great. Then the whole world will go to hell. And the same thing in Ukraine. Keeps ramping up, ramping up, ramping up. I mentioned where Biden's popularity rating is. As I keep saying, when all else fails, they take you to war. So get ready for more war. It's on the near horizon unless we stop it. And the only way we're going to stop it is united we stand, divided we die. So please support us because we're supporting you and we can't do it alone. The articles that came out a few days ago, how all the billionaires and multi-millionaires are going to give so much money to Joe Biden for his campaign. How come they don't give money to Occupy Peace? Or Freedom, Peace, and Justice, the Universal Church? Nope, not allowed. Only more war. It's up to us to change it. So thank you for tuning in, and please do what you can. We need your help. We're a very critical time right now. Thank you.